Okay, let's jump around. These are hot headlines around the National Football League. On Monday today, NFL teams were allowed to contact free agents. On Wednesday, the actual free agent window opens and you can sign guys. Okay, here's where we are. First headline: who is over the cap? Well, as of we talk to you right now on Monday, there are 5 NFL teams that are still over the cap. And remember, the cap went from 224 to 255, almost a $30 million hike.
That's huge.
Yeah. And yet there's still 5 that got problems. The Chargers are 29.9 million over the cap. Obviously, there's going to be some bloodletting between now and Wednesday when they have to be cap friendly. Miami is 29.7 million over the cap. They're going to have to shed some players too. As I say, 5 teams, but those Bolts, Dolphins are the ones that have the significant cap issue. Second headline: Hacksaw, who's got the most cap space? This is staggering. Josh Harris bought the Washington Commanders more than a year ago from your best friend, Daniel Snyder. Yeah. Inherited a wretched team, no quarterback, a lot of contracts. Washington has shed themselves of a lot of players. That's why Washington's not a very good team right now. This has never happened. They're almost 100 million cap space.
Whoa.
Washington Commanders, 96.5 million cap space with a new owner coming in the front door who wants to make his mark. You think they're going to spend some bucks in D.C.? So Washington at 96.5. Tennessee Titans, because they've shedded contracts from a lot of high-priced veterans, they are sitting there at 80.6 cap space. And post-Belichick and Foxborough, and they have never dabbled much in free agency. Of course, they had a lot of cap issues because of Tom Brady's contract, etc. New England's cap number, they got 75 million in cap space. So, and they have a new coach, Jared Mayle, who one of the first things out of his mouth right after he got hired replacing Belichick, said, we're going to burn some money here. We're going to go into free agency. So they're doing business really differently in New England. And one other sidebar story. Now, we're a month out from the NFL draft. Right in the month of March, before the business season kicks in for NFL teams, they also award compensation draft picks for teams that lost free agents last year but did not replace them on the roster. So they awarded comp picks. The 49ers and the Rams have 5 compensation draft picks. Whoa. Compensation picks are third at the end of the 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, 6th round, 7th round. So San Francisco and the Rams each have 5 additional comp picks, and the Eagles have 4 additional picks for guys who left who were not replaced by free agents. San Francisco picks up a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, and 2 6ths. The Rams pick up a 3rd. They also have 6, 6, 6, and a 7. Now you can say, hey, Hacksaw, at the end of the 5th round, that guy's probably going to be cutting, delivering milk during the regular season. But you can find gems. If you got multiple picks, you can find the 49er quarterback.
Yeah, Brock Purdy.
Yeah, you can find Tom Brady.
Right.
So when you have all these extra picks, you can go take a gamble. Small college guy that fits the parameters of what you want as a player that might not have been on a really good program. So the comp picks do carry some unique value. And based on the fact that Antonio Gates was undrafted, and gee, maybe we'll take him at the back end of the last round and look what the guys turn into. So comp picks. So it's like your checking account or the wife's checking account. Over the cap space, comp picks, the floor is yours.
Well, let's go to the Commanders for a minute. You say they're almost 100 million of cap space. Is that because Dan Snyder was just a cheap ass guy, or is it because they had a lot of veterans and they just cut them loose?
Expiring contracts.
Okay.
Guys have let go. I mean, they built a really great defense and they let a couple of those guys go. Took a cap hit last year when they let Chase Young go, which was a stunner to me, but he had a major knee injury, but he had a big dollar value. So they bit the bullet, took the hit. He wound up going to the 49ers, and now he's a free agent, but he may re-sign in San Francisco. But yeah, that's just a byproduct of a pile of guys that used to pay a lot of money to. Contracts expired, or they got rid of them, or they swallowed the contracts and cut the guys loose. So, but you got a new owner. New owners like to
Oh, for sure.
Oh, like to have
Yeah.
a signature acquisition. So this will be fun to see if Josh Harris spends it all the first year.
Well, also want to talk about the Rams and the Niners and those what do they call them, extra compensation picks.
Yes,
Isn't that the strategy of the new Charger GM and what he did in Baltimore?
bingo.
Yeah.
That's what they've always done. Baltimore historically more than anybody else, and I have no life, so I follow this junk all the time. Historically, their philosophy was, we like you and you played well for us. We're going to let you go a year early rather than keep you in a big contract a year too late. Historically, because every time I'd get to February and March, the Ravens would dispatch this guy, or they'd release this guy, or they'd work out a trade. I said, wow, you're getting rid of these players? But that's how they did that business, John Harbaugh's organization, with their general managers, going back to Ozzie Newsome to the current one, Eric DeCastro. And Joe Ortiz worked under that philosophy, and they were always, his favorite phrase is, churning the roster.
There you go.
So, yeah, the comp picks carry a lot of value. The late round draft picks carry a lot of value. So that's where we are with NFL and money. Now we go